Hey guys, how's it going? It's Molly. I'm here today to do a 3 looks 1 palette and review video of the new BH Cosmetics Crystal Zodiac palette. This is the third installment of their Zodiac palette series, the large palettes anyways. They did release those smaller palettes. I think it was in 2019. Every month they were releasing a new palette that corresponded with the Zodiac sign for that particular month. So I have already filmed the 3 looks. I'm going to start this video off by telling you guys what my thoughts are on the palette. I can't hold it completely up because I have some busted shades. But I'll get to that in a second. So anyways, I'm going to start off by telling you guys what I think of it, and then we'll get into the looks. So, okay, my overall feeling about this palette is I regret purchasing it. Not because the formula is bad. The formula is good. The mattes blend out great. The shimmers are really pretty. But I don't like the color story. It's not a cohesive palette. And I am finding that I'm drawn to cohesive palettes more and more. I find it really difficult to create a cohesive look with these shades combined. Whereas with the other palettes, that just wasn't the case. I felt like the color story was well thought out. And it was easy to come up with quite a few looks. So I really did struggle to create the looks that I came up with. Now, that being said, I like the looks that I came up with, but if I'm sitting down to do makeup, I don't want to have to think too much about what I'm doing. I want it to just be kind of easy, you know? Whereas with this one, I felt like I had to put a little bit more creative thought into it, which is fine. But if that's not something that you're into, I wouldn't recommend this. So another reason why I'm a little bummed out is this shade here is my favorite shade, and it broke. So it's just this really beautiful brown. I think I used it in one of the looks. It's been a while since I filmed those looks, but that's the shade right there. It's really pretty. And then I've got these other 2 shades that are broken. So this one I couldn't salvage because it broke and then fell into my sink that I hadn't scrubbed in like 3 weeks. So I just threw it away. And then these 2, I'm trying to keep them in the pan so that I can repress them. I have never had shadows break on me like this to this degree before. So I don't know if they're more fragile or not, but that is one thing to maybe be aware of, that if you drop this at all, it is going to break. I've dropped a ton of palettes and they haven't broken. So I think this one is probably a little bit more fragile than some of my other palettes are. I am going to go ahead and swatch these for you guys and show you that, and then we'll just go from there. So we'll start by swatching the shimmers. The other thing that I'm not loving is that with the marbling on some of these shades, it's hard to get an even look. Like if you look at this shade here, it's 2 different colors. And that was with rubbing my finger in it. Okay, so those are the shimmers swatch. They are a baked formula, just like the other palettes. They lay down really well. I should probably mention I don't have this on my eyes today. I'm wearing the the Pure and Trolls Techno palette. There's another video. I did a first impressions I just filmed of this. So if you're curious about that, it's not this palette. Anyway, so I think they're fine. They're fine shades. I think that there could have been a better variation in color. But like I said, they lay down really nicely. They're pigmented, they're foiled, they're really pretty. They definitely work better with a wet brush, or a finger. A wet brush or a finger is how I like to use these. And then the other thing that I noticed is I tended to have quite a bit of fading and a little bit of creasing. And I'm not sure, I can't for sure say that it's the palette. It very well could be that it's my eyeshadow primer that's just gone bad. Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, and then those are swatches of the mattes. Of the mattes, I probably use this brown, this plummy gray, the purple, and maybe this shade. Oh, and this shade. You can't really see it, but it's a really good transition shade. Those are the ones that I use the most. I feel like the formula of the mattes is just as good as the other palettes. But yeah, so the mattes I feel like perform well. I just don't like the color story. I feel like there's quite a few gaps in it. And for that reason, I find myself really not wanting to reach for it. So those are my thoughts on the palette. Like I said, I've got 3 looks coming for you guys in case you are curious, in case you do like the color story. I mean, like I said, the formula I think is on par with the other palettes. So the real drawback is the color story on this one. But like I said, if the color story doesn't bother you, if you actually like it, then by all means, stay tuned and check out the looks that I came up with, because I did come up with some pretty looks. So, okay, that's next. Okay, for this look, I'm really wanting to use some of these gray shadows, like the shade Hematite here on the lid, I think would be really pretty. So I'm just going to start off by, I'm going to use this red as my transition shade. This one, I'm totally flying by the seat of my pants because I haven't done this before. And that's a little intense. So I'm going into a cream matte shade that's in the palette and helping to blend that out. So I am just going to spend some time blending here. And I dipped into the cream shade and I'm taking that along this upper edge here to help blend it up into my brow bone. I don't want anything too crazy. And then I am going to take this purple matte shade here on, this is just a Moda Pro crease brush, looks like that. Oh, this might be a giant mistake. Okay, I'm going to take this just to deepen things up a little bit. So I'm taking it along the outer V and then up into the crease just slightly, but making sure to keep it below where I place that initial transition shade. Okay, and then this is a Delium Tool 776 brush, so it's kind of flat and then slender. I'm going to take this darker gray shade and I'm going to use this. First, I'm going to place it on the outer V. And then I'm just going to kind of spend some time blending that out right there. And then I'm going to buff it up into the crease of the outer corner of my eye. So I'm not going to take it into the crease over here, just keeping it over here on the outer V. This is going to be way more intense than a typical work look, but oh well. They all know Molly loves her makeup. Okay, and then on, this is a Moda smudger brush. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to smudge this much deeper gray tone along my lower lash line. Not lower, sorry, upper. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but it's definitely coming across as maybe a little bit patchy on this eye. I don't know why that is, because it's not on the other eye. All right, so these are the two shimmers that I'm going to use. The darker one is Hematite and the lighter one is Rhodonite. So it's these these two right here. I'm going to use hematite on most of my lid and then rhodonite on the inner portion, just because that is what is most flattering for my eye shape. Okay, and I forgot a setting spray. These shimmers definitely work better wet or applied with a finger. So I'm just going to apply it with my finger because I forgot my setting spray downstairs. And I'm too lazy to go get it. The fallout. Okay, it does. I've got quite a bit of fallout, so I'm gonna clean that up after I'm done. If you guys hear barking, I'm sorry. I think the trash guys are here. My dogs are probably going to be freaking out. Okay, now for the lower lash line, I want to keep it relatively low key. So I am going to take this just plain old matte brown shade right here, and I'm going to take it on a Moda detail brush. It's not quite a pencil brush, but it's not quite a crease brush. It works well for the lower lash line. And I'm going to buff this along here. Okay, and then I'm taking that same smudger brush and that dark gray shade. I don't know my colors today. And I'm just gonna smudge that as close to the lower lash line as possible. Okay, the fallout is atrocious. Oh well. All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off camera really quick and do my brows and apply some mascara, and then I will be back to show you guys what it all looks like together. Okay, so this is the final look for the first look. I definitely have some fallout, which is a total bummer, but hopefully I can clean that up. I don't know. But I actually really kind of like how this turned out. Like, I was worried that the pink was going to be too intense, but I don't think that it is. I think that the darker shades blend into it really beautifully. So I will be back here with look number 2 shortly. Okay, so I'm back for look number 2. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my primer with this cream shade here on a larger fluffy brush. So, and this shade does offer a little bit of color, which is nice because it just will help kind of ease the transition for the next shade that I'm going to use. Now, one thing about this palette is I feel like they don't have enough neutral transition shades. So I'm going to go ahead and deepen up my crease with this brown here. And to do that, I'm going to use my Moda Pro crease brush. So I just want to lightly tap into it, and then I'm also tapping into that cream shade as well to help this not go on quite as intensely as I wanted. I'm essentially making my own crease shade. So, and I'm making sure to tap off any excess. Okay, and then I'm going to take a different brush. I'm going to take, this is a Delium Tool 776 brush. I'm going to use it with just the brown, so I'm not mixing the two colors. And I'm going to take that to deepen up my outer V. And I'm going to blow this up into the crease a little bit to deepen that up. But I don't want to put too much pigment on the inner portion of my crease, just the outer half or so. Okay, and then I'm going to go into this deeper matte shade. It looks gray in the pan, but it's actually more of like a plummy brown shade. It's really pretty. And I'm taking this on a Moda Pro detail brush. So I'm just going to deepen up my outer V with this. And then I want to use these green shades. This shade Jade, and then we got Smoky Quartz right here. These are the two shades swatched. So I think I'll use Jade on probably the middle of my lid, this on the outer portion, and then I am thinking probably Citrine, this yellow gold shade, on the very inner corner. You guys probably remember the first look that I did, I didn't use any setting spray with the shimmers, and I ended up with a ton of fallout, and it just kind of ruined the look. So I'm going to make sure not to make that same mistake today. This shade is gorgeous. Okay, and then I'm gonna dip into Smoky Quartz and put this on my outer V, which maybe it kind of defeats the purpose of having deepened up the outer V already. But I think this will just kind of help everything be a little bit more cohesive. I mean, if you wanted this green to pop a little bit more, you just wouldn't deepen it up with those matte shades. You would leave it blank and then deepen it up with this. And I'm gonna take that shade on this Real Techniques Essential, it's like a smudge brush, I guess is what it's called. I'm just gonna take that up into the crease a little bit to ease that transition. Then on a clean brush, I'm going to blend that in. Okay, so now on I forgot to mention what kind of brush I was using for the lid shades. And it's the Sigma E57, it's a firm shader brush. Now I'm going to go ahead and take Citrine on that, making sure to wet my brush. And we're going to place this on the inner portion and making sure to overlap it with Jade. This would be really beautiful as like a halo eye with Jade on the inner and outer portions of the lid and then Citrine in the middle. Because when you overlap the two, it creates this really nice, oh, beautiful green shade. Okay, then I want to just kind of make sure that things are blending out. So I'm going back into the brown and cream shades, and I'm making sure that these shades have something to blend into, I guess, so that it's not just color and then skin. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the bottom lash line. For that, what do I wanna do? Purple would be really pretty, but I am going to work, so I'm just gonna keep it simple and smudge these two shades, mimicking my transition shade up top. So we're gonna blow this out along the lower lash line, focusing most of the pigment on the outer portion, and then bringing the brush in. It just helps create like an elongated eye. Okay. And now I am going to go ahead and dip into Smoky Quartz on my Real Techniques smudge brush. And I'm gonna wet that just so it doesn't fall all over my face. And I'm gonna take this a little bit closer to the lash line, but I don't want to go too crazy with it. And then I do want to take a little bit more of Citrine and just kind of blow off the extra and pop it into my inner corner just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish things off with a couple coats of mascara, and then I will come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like all together. All right, so this is the finished look. I finished things off with a couple coats of the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, as well as the Dose of Colors Liquid Lip in the shade Nude Mood. It came in a BoxyCharm. I don't know if it was exclusive to BoxyCharm or not. I don't know, but it's just like a nude, kind of warm-toned nude lip. So, again, the eyes, and I will be right back with look number 3. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the third look. I'm gonna go in with some of the purple shades and try that. I don't wanna go too crazy though because I have to work. For transition, I'm gonna use this cream shade here. So I'm taking that on a Sigma E38. And I'm taking that fairly high. And as you can see, it's a really light transition shade, so I'll probably do a double transition. Okay, I think I'm gonna very lightly go into this brown. Like one tap. And go just slightly lower with this. So it's just deepening it up a little bit. But I don't want a full-on brown transition. Just a nice light brown. And I lost my favorite transition brush. I swear I just had it, and between coming up from downstairs and setting it on the table, apparently it is missing. Total bummer. Okay, so now on a Delium Tools 776 brush, that's what it looks like. I'm going to be placing this matte purple on the outer V and blowing up into the crease. I really, really like this brush for this step. It's nice because the flat portion of it, you can really pack color on, but then it's fluffy enough that you can also blend out with it. And then on my lid, I'm gonna play it kind of safe. I'm gonna use this shade Amber. It's just a nice sort of champagne shade. So on a Sigma Firm Shader brush, it's the E57. I am gonna wet the brush and I'm just gonna pack this onto my lid. And I like to take it up into the crease just a little bit because I find that it's just a bit more flattering than if you were to just place it, like have like a stark line. And obviously I'm going to be overlapping that with the purple to help everything sort of blend together. Okay, and I think I am going to deepen things up. I'm going to go into this kind of plummy gray shade on a Moda Pro 420 detail brush. Just kind of this like small domed packing brush. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to keep it close to my lash line and then kind of blow it up into the outer V and crease, just to deepen up this very outer portion. Because I don't want to cover up the purple completely. But I just want to give things a little bit more of a boost. Okay. Then back into, with the Delium Tools 776, I am going to take this purple more into my crease. Apparently this eye look is all about building. Because I realized that I really wanted to use the shimmery purple that's in this palette. this amethyst shade. So I'm just gonna take that on my finger. So just a little bit. And I'm gonna pop this on the lid. But I don't wanna go too crazy. I think I might've gone too crazy. Okay. All right, I'm going back into Amber, that initial shimmer shade, and we're gonna work on toning down that transition. Okay, so that's what we're working with at this point. Bottom lash line, I'm just going to keep things pretty simple. I'm going to take the brown and the purple mattes. So the brown matte I'm taking on I think a Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush. And I'm going to blend that with that cream shade. I'm taking it, just kind of blowing it along the lower lash line to add some dimension. Okay, and then on a Real Techniques, it's like a shader brush, I'm gonna take the matte purple, and I'm gonna take this kind of just much closer to the lash line. Okay, and then I lied. I am gonna go ahead and take the like plummy gray shade on the Moda Pro 420 brush and just buff that right on the lash line, along like the outer third. I mean, you guys have seen me do my eye makeup, you know what I do. Okay, and now I'm ready for mascara, and then I'm done. Okay, you guys, so this is the final look with a couple coats of the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. You know, the more I'm playing with this palette, the more I'm kind of liking it. I definitely am going to share my final thoughts with you guys here at the end of the video. But what I like about this look is it's a fun way to play with some color, but it's not outrageous. So I think that this is a palette that you can do that sort of thing with if that's within your comfort zone. So, okay, stay tuned for final thoughts. All right, guys, so that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts on the palette, if you've tried it or if you decided not to get it, just anything that you think about it, please feel free to comment. I really love interacting with everybody on here. So at any rate, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.